Hello everyone, I'm Eel, and today I am reminded of how difficult it is for me to remain consistent with making these videos. I'm getting better at it, but all it takes is a little bit of busyness in my life, and boom, now it has been a while since I've uploaded anything. But I have some good ideas that will unravel over the next couple of videos here. So without further ado, we're going to get started with part one of answering the question, what car should I buy? Now, these are my opinions that I've collected over the last couple of years. These opinions have changed a little bit over that time, but I think I've got it dialed in with where I stand right now in 2022. So, today for part one, I want to go over a couple of points, lay some groundwork. The first one is going to be a disclaimer that I know very little about what I'm talking about. Now, you probably know people who like to share their opinions, and while they're explaining it, you can easily tell this person really has no clue what they're blabbering about right now. Well, that's me right now. I am in no way a professional in the automotive industry at all, but I listened to people talk about different stuff with cars. I've done my own research and I've come to these conclusions. And I think that many people will be able to agree with the conclusions that I've come to. And that if you decide to do your own research, you will probably come to similar conclusions as I have. So, the next point I have is going to be that everyone should realize that there is no escape. Nowadays, if you don't have a car, at least in the kinds of areas that I live in, you are screwed. You really need this kind of rapid transportation, and it needs to be there, it needs to be reliable, and unfortunately, you're going to be paying for it. There really is no escape. If you don't like the car that you have right now, don't start getting all these ideas about getting a new one if being economically friendly to yourself is in your interest, because it will cost you a lot to get a new car, whether it's new or used. If you upgrade yourself, it's going to cost you a lot up front and down the line. It's also going to cost you if you try and get something cheap, because you're going to be repairing it, and all these things, they balance out over time. So we'll go over some of those things and where you can find a sweet spot that is going to be in your best interest. But in my personal opinion, the difference between having a brand new car and a used car that you take care of is that let's take, for example, the cheaper end of vehicles, your Corollas, your Honda Civics, stuff like that. If you get a brand new one, it's going to be in the ballpark of $20,000. Okay, you pay $20,000 over the course of 5 years, and now your other option is going to be getting, let's say, a small car that's a couple years old for $10,000. Over 5 years, you spend $5,000 in maintenance or repairs, and another $5,000 in upgrades. So $20,000 there and $20,000 here. At the end of this $20,000 with your used car that you have taken care of and you've upgraded, well, now you have a car that's even better than a new one and is ready to go because all of the required repairs have been done. So it's going to be more reliable and you're going to enjoy it more. Take the brand new car, on the other hand, that you also spent $20,000 on. Well, at the end of that 5 years, spending $20,000, now you have a car that needs all of the work that this one did. And that could include upgrades to get with the times. And so the illusion of having a new car for newer features or better features is just an illusion. You could find far more satisfaction with going the used route. Not only that, but take into consideration that buying a car is it's a liability. It's not an asset. You should not think about buying a car to invest into it. it will lose value over time. A brand new car will lose value very fast, and a used car will lose value a little bit slower, but still, over time, it's going to get outdated, worn out, broken, etc. So you should not think of it as an investment. That being said, right now we are in the middle of a awkward transition to electric powered vehicles. My personal opinion is that we should have been electrified a long time ago. I think electric vehicles should have been on the road decades ago, and the infrastructure in place should have accommodated them to the point where that's the norm nowadays. The problem is it's not the norm nowadays, and investing in an electric vehicle could really hurt you right now, because you're still paying for energy. Some people have done the math to work it out that an electric car, you're still paying for the energy. It's electricity that you're paying for instead of gasoline, but the rate that you're paying for it would be similar to a car that's getting like 90 to 100 miles a gallon, which is a lot, and it's very efficient. But there are some things that gasoline-powered vehicles have an advantage over the electric vehicles with, and that's kind of why we've always lent that way, and we're in the position that we are now. We'll go over some of those points as well, but keep that in mind. It might not be as smart for you to start putting money towards electric vehicles for those reasons. Same thing with hybrid vehicles. When you're talking new, it's definitely not worth it, because what you think you'd be saving in gas, you're actually paying for a more expensive vehicle. So your savings is not there. Do not think that you're going to save money by having a hybrid vehicle. Now, if you get a used hybrid vehicle, maybe at some point you'll save a little bit, but you got to keep in mind that these batteries do not last all that long. You will probably need several $1,000s in repairs right off the bat, or soon down the line if you go with a used hybrid vehicle. So if you want to be more friendly to the environment, then sure, you could go those routes, but just realize that for you, you may not save money by going these routes right now. Okay, and I know it's not just about the money, but there are some serious disadvantages that we'll go over, I'm sure, with electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. Actually, on that note, think of it this way: gasoline-powered vehicles, the ones that are well built, will last a very long time, possibly forever if you just continue repairing what needs to be repaired and they don't get in any serious collisions. And you can do a lot of the work yourself. So that adds another dynamic to it, where hybrid vehicles, there's a lot of reasons why you might not be able to work on a hybrid vehicle at home, besides like some of the normal maintenance, like tire pressure, oil change, stuff like that. Oftentimes you might need specialists to work on those vehicles, which then costs more, and they're not going to be built with the kind of strength that some of these more solid gasoline vehicles have, because they're trying to be more fuel efficient, because they're trying to be more economic, etc. And electric vehicles, virtually no one knows how to work on them right now. And the ones that would probably do it for you are probably going to charge an arm and a leg to do it anyways. Companies like Tesla, sorry, Elon Musk. But if you want the job done right, you have to go through their service and repairs and stuff, and they charge arms and legs based off of the stories I've been told. But that's about it for now, part one. Some groundwork. It's a long video. Thank you for sticking around. But we'll move on to part two with some examples. In the meantime, stay tuned.